Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Creatives Worldwide podcast. My name is Wendy Hatton, and I'm here with my cousin, my co host, Karen Rios. Hi, Karen.
Hello there, Wendy. This is a very exciting day for me because we finally have a dancer on.
Yee, finally have a dancer. Woohoo!
I'm so excited.
Yes, and
And the
Leslie.
entrepreneurial magic is already working because she already has me as a client, pretty much.
Wow, this is like awesome. Okay, so this is Moana Yee, and she lives in Texas, but she's from Hawaii and she teaches hula dance. Woohoo! So I met her when she did a workshop with another friend of mine who had her over, and it was so interesting. I said, "Can you be on my podcast?" So here she is, and welcome to the show, Moana. Thank you for
Welcome,
coming.
welcome, Moana. We're so glad to have
Thank
you.
you so much. I appreciate you having me on here as well. I'm super excited, and I'm excited to start dancing with you already, Karen. Man, you got me excited.
I
I
love
knew that when we had our little conversation earlier today, I knew that you and Karen would really hit it off for sure. But
it.
so, what we want to do first is to just find out about you and how you got to doing the hula teaching, and then kind of talk about how you teach it. And then you're going to just show us something that, either a video or something in person that you can do a little demonstration. And so this will be, and your story. And you're going to tell us a lot about how you got here and the story of hula, because you said hula is stories, basically, right? So just go ahead and
Yes,
let us know.
and start somewhere. Thank you. I appreciate that, Wendy and Karen as well. This is such a blessing for me and an honor to be able to share this part of my story. And this has actually just been a journey for me going back into discovering who I am at the place I am in my life. I'm starting over. I'm 48. I'm excited to be 48. um, and just going into the next phase, not as so much chapter, but just a whole new phase of me. And quick background, I'm a mom of two boys. I have three stepdaughters as well. They're all grown. The youngest is actually 16. So the rest of them are doing their own thing. And so now I get to be here for me. And this is where I got to start my journey over again. And for me, hula and Polynesian dance has always been something that I was brought up with in my culture. Being in a community, I actually grew up in California. So my family is from Hawaii, and they had me in LA, and then I was raised in Orange County, California. And so we had a very large Hawaiian community that I got to grow up around. And so they were a heavy influence of just the culture. I mean, we were active in so many ways. We had festivals, we had regular parties, or we call luau's, for birthdays and anniversaries. And so there was always a luau happening. And in that, there's always music and dance. And it's a way that we've always shared our culture. And so growing up, my mom is a singer and a performer. And so I just kind of got thrown into the mix of being a dancer. And as you get older and you hang out with all the aunties, and they all teach you things as you go along in life, and they just become, it's a tribe, right? A sense of tribe raising you. And so I got to learn how to be a performer and a dancer, and then it quickly moved me into doing it as a career. And so we were the group that would show up at your weddings or your anniversary parties or birthday parties, and we would do the performances. And that's really how I got to be more in tune with my culture, is because I got to do it through dance and learning more with the language and how to embody what the dances were about. And fast forward, I ended up moving to Texas and got into the beauty industry. It was extremely, extremely hot out here in Texas. I could not handle the heat. So trying to dance out here for me was horrible. I couldn't hang with it. It was just extremely opposite conditions. And so I just ended up hanging up my hula skirt, so to say. And I got into the beauty industry. And being in the beauty industry, I ended up working with women. So I got to see a lot of my own reflections in how we view ourselves as women, how hard we are on ourselves, how much we don't give back to taking care of ourselves. And so it became more of a self-care journey. Um, and I did eyelashes and eyebrows. And so I used to say that I used to get to adorn the windows to the soul. And I would have really great conversations with women, very touching and moving conversations, as well as being a part of their life because I got to see them on a regular basis, at least twice a month. So I got to be very involved in, it was almost like lash therapy. You know, I got to be involved in what was going on. Their kids going to college, their weddings were happening, divorces happening, even some deaths in the family. So being a part of their world, and then being a quote unquote therapist, just being there for them to talk to, helped move me into another part of my life. And so now that I'm in this stage, I've kind of melded these two areas together into now what I'm guiding people through is hula wellness. So taking what I've learned through my culture in dance, in the sense of embodying who we are and really feeling and connecting more with ourselves. And also into the wellness space of being able to express and release emotion, connecting again with the body. Our body stores so much of that trauma. And so being able to move the body and release, as well as embracing hula as storytelling part, being able to tell our story through the motion of the body and releasing emotion. So it's kind of a package.
Do you still do your performances like your birthday parties and the things that you were talking about at the beginning, or did you kind of evolve into what you're doing right now?
So I still have a love for it, and if I'm asked, I do them. I don't perform in a group setting as so much. I am out here in Texas, and there are a few groups out here that do performances. So if needed and I'm available and it matches, then I'll go and participate in a show with them here and there, or something that they may have come up. Or if asked, that is one big thing. When we are asked to dance at a function or anything of that sort, it's disrespectful if we turn it down and say no. So if we're in a family setting, we're just sitting around, maybe we're, birthday party or something, and they're playing music and we're asked to perform or we're asked to do a dance or a hula, it's disrespectful to the people that are teachers, whoever's taught me what's been instilled within me to refuse. So I learned that at an early age. My aunties would stop me from running around playing with my friends, and they like, come dance hula. If I said no, I would get in trouble.
So you were telling us a little bit before, or me earlier today, that hula has storytelling. It's connected to storytelling. Can you explain how that is? Is it every movement that you make is a certain story, or how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll relate this to something that's happening right now currently. But when hula, the way that we have always had language in the beginning, before our language was taken away, was through dance, through the movements of the body and the hands and the hips. And we told the story that way before there was a specific language. And so that was always a part of who we are. And we tell the stories of our ancestors. We tell the stories of the land. We tell the stories of what is within us, still within us in our hearts. And a lot of it is the ancestry. So speaking about the kings and the queens that ruled at those times, we could be speaking about a specific location in the islands. So, like Lahaina, there's a lot of tribute being given to Lahaina right now after all the fires and things. So, hulas and dances that have already been um, inspired by kumus of the past. And kumu is a teacher that teaches us these things and passes down these traditions. And so, the stories can be of pretty much anything that we want to keep alive, our history that we want to keep alive. You know, they say that the last time, or when something really dies, is the last time you speak about it, right? Or someone's name. And so we keep a lot of that alive through our dance and through our hula. So that could even be, you know, smaller things that such maybe a specific flower like the tuberose or plumerias, if you know the hibiscus, those are popular in the islands, and being able to just pick up the flower, bring it in, you hold it dear to your heart. It's all about the expression and how you're moving it, and you connect with the body. So that is part of what's happening right now in the islands. There is a very big hula festival called the Mare Monarch Festival, and I didn't get the year right. I think 65 years is the number, but it's happening right now, and it is a competition, but it's more of a commemorative festival where groups all over Hawaii, all of the islands, and even outside globally, there are other locations that have flown in with there's groups, big groups, and they all come in and they practice all year for these things, and it's grueling practice. They go deep into research, they condition their bodies, and they really embrace and embody the culture, the spirit, the story that they're going to be talking about. And so that is happening currently right now. And I was going to share a video with you if you would love to see.
Yeah.
And it goes from groups down to soloists as well. So they even have solo competition parts.
Wow. Yeah, you can go ahead and share that with us.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Now this is my first time doing on here. So
you did it right before, so that's good. Oh, just so you know, we're all going to be muted. We're going to all be muted automatically when this video comes on. So.
Okay. So maybe do this for me, so at least I know it's
okay.
It's working.
All right.
Let's see. I believe this is a video, and she's a soloist, and she's the winner of last year, I believe.
Wow. Karen, could you see the video? I saw it, but it was still. It was a still.
I saw the picture of it, so I did not actually see the video.
Okay, yeah, I saw the picture too. Did you see the video too, Moana? She's
Oh,
That's what happened when we were
I
working
know.
before.
Moana, I think you're still muted too.
Oh yeah, you're still muted, Moana. There we go. I don't know.
Okay. Yes, the video was playing on my end, so sorry, I did not see anybody waving at me if I missed you.
But but I think that perhaps when we put it in for the recording, we can probably put in the link. So
Oh right.
we can get to it.
Definitely.
So we'll all get to
Yeah.
see it.
So it's very important to our culture. It is very important to our culture. It has a lot of history to it. And so for me, what I'm doing as I'm moving this into this new phase of life is hula is life for us, is what we say. Hula is life. Hula is the heartbeat. It's the heartbeat of our culture. And aloha spirit is something that vibrates throughout the island, as well as it resonates within the people. And so it is something that I truly believe too, that everybody has this within them. You don't have to be from the islands to have this. Aloha is so many things. It's not just a hello and goodbye. It is about kindness. It's about your frame of mind, being conscious of the world around us and how we give. I have a deep perspective of how I see my culture being raised off of the island, as opposed to being a native being raised on the island. And growing up, we usually got made fun of because we weren't, being raised on the island. But I love the perspective that I have of my culture and who I am being raised off of the islands, because it's almost like those things where you don't really appreciate it until it's gone. So for me, when I used to visit, I could just sit and stare at the mountains all day long. I could sit at the beach and look at the ocean all day long. Where my cousins and things would be running around going, let's go to the mall, let's go to the movies. And I'm like, I want to be inside. That doesn't sound good. So, and not to take anything away from them, it's just that I got to just have this different perspective and love for it. And now that I'm older, I do appreciate it differently. Being a Polynesian dancer and growing up, performing and then talking to people afterwards and taking photos with people afterwards, I just got to hear a lot of stories coming back to me about their visits to Hawaii, about their vacations to Hawaii, and everything was always just positive, smiley, happy faces. So I grew up with this constant, yeah, this is great, this is great. And for me, like, I didn't really, I didn't grow up there, so a lot of things they're telling me, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. and I just appreciated the energy that they were feeding me, like how happy they were. And now that I can see that differently, I appreciate it more, just to know that I have that in my background. So to be able to help other people understand what aloha feels like, what aloha means to live it and practice it every day, it's just a way of life. It's just a way of life. And I just want to get that out there more by helping people through the wellness part of it. We all go through the same challenges of feeling belittled or small or disrespected, our lights being dimmed, through interaction, relationships, working. And so how we can just live and vibrate this through the body, and then just being able to emanate it all the time, is part of what the mission is of sharing aloha wellness, hula wellness.
Cool. I'm really curious because Karen, as a ballet dancer, did you resonate? Like, how did your perspective is when you were listening to Moana speak? It's probably different than mine. So I'm just curious what you resonated the most with when she was sharing about her journey.
No, I think, Moana, as you were talking, so many things were rising up, because one of the things, of course, as a dancer, I know for me personally, the first you use, well, first of all, dancer and yoga as my wellness practice as well, which speaks to exactly what you were talking to about embodiment. I think that what I think is so beautiful about your about hula is the fact that your embodiment came from your culture and everything like that. Whereas trained in a classical ballet studio, we are disconnected a lot from our bodies, I think, because of how strongly technical a lot of things tend to be. And so it was coming into wellness practices, which is why I appreciate and respect what you're doing so much. It was coming into wellness practices where I almost had to pull myself back into my body
The
because
body.
yeah, because what a lot of people don't understand is that we do store our emotions in our bodies, and our bodies do, like, if that more people should be listening to their bodies. Our bodies are like our first sign of defense if something comes at us and we don't want to address it, or if there is, our bodies are very, very, very vocal. Actually, our bodies actually have voices, and they will scream at us if there is something that we should not be involved in, that we are getting ourselves into. But so many of us just deny it, deny it, deny it, because I remember for years being on point. I mean, point is not easy, and it's also very painful. um, but you're told, deny the pain in pursuit of the beauty, or whatever. And so, so I just so really appreciate, but yes, as you were saying it, definitely a lot of resonating, as well as the fact that we as women are not embodied enough. I don't think. I really think that there is such a need for women to get in touch with emotional and everything like that. So, for example, I've had a week, and maybe this is TMI to our viewers, but I've had a week where a lot of things have been coming up, and I've been doing like some ugly crying to the point of where my daughter's looking at me like, what is going on with you? But I think in any other setting, it's like, no, 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 deny that, deny the feelings that you're experiencing, in order to present, I guess, what is acceptable to the world that we live in. And so I just think that just so much beauty comes from what you're doing, especially with the embodiment piece and the healing piece and the wellness piece. So that was
Definitely.
very long, but
Yeah.
No,
I'm glad I asked
that,
that.
yeah, I am too. I am too.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you. Actually, if I can, to what you were saying, um, not desensitizing, right, in the body, and not feeling. Um, and in my perspective, it's the physical body, right? And then you have your spiritual or your soul. And the one piece that we connect everything with is breath. And so I explain this in Hula Wellness. For me, aloha in Hula Wellness is the acknowledgement of breath. So ALO is the acknowledgement or the presence, and ha is breath. So you're acknowledging or the presence of breath when you say aloha, and giving ourselves aloha to know that we matter and we have a presence within us. And part of this physical body, we have five senses, right? And these five senses are all on this physical body to alert the spiritual and the soul. So awakening those two so that they listen to each other, right? So that we can pay attention to what you were just saying. Like, we're not paying attention to what's happening, but we have these five senses for a reason. We hear certain things, or we smell. They're made to alert us, so that we can address however we need to move forward through it. And breath is such a big part of the wellness part of it, because our breath is where we get present. Our breath is what calms us. Our breath is what gives us the second to either react or respond. And so our breath has to have some kind of acknowledgement. It's our first gift given, and it's our last gift that we give back. In between, nobody tells us what to do with it. We just know when we're in fight or flight mode, like you get the advice like, girl, calm down, breathe. Right? But we don't know
Yes.
why we say that. We just say it.
And it's true. And I think that a lot of us, it's really funny because when you actually do slow down and you're thinking with your breath, I think a lot of us don't even realize how much we do hold our breath throughout the day, how much we're not breathing and being present with what we're doing because of our devices, or because there's so many other areas to distract us, to disconnect us, that even being pulled back into our physical is so important and valuable. So I love it.
Right.
That's awesome. Yeah. Wow. I knew this would be a good conversation. And then just have one other last question. Is like we ask everyone at the end, like if you have any wisdom or any advice, anybody who's watching, who's interested in maybe becoming a creative entrepreneur, not necessarily a hula dancer, but something that they're talented in, that they want to turn into a business. Is there any advice that you have for them? That's something that's related to maybe something that you went through when you switched over to entrepreneurship?
Oh my, that's such a loaded question. Yes, I mean, let's see. I think entrepreneurship has just kind of been in my blood. My grandfather is an entrepreneur. My mom's an entrepreneur. And I actually just knew early on that I didn't want to work for anybody. I didn't like, being told or asking when I can use the restroom, or being told when I can use a break, or eating. I love to eat. So I hated having to ask if I can go eat something, or, just, I didn't like the rules. And so I think I always knew that I would be an entrepreneur, and I think that that's just within you. The funny thing is I have a son who is an entrepreneur, and he is seeking in this path as well. He's an artist. And one of the things I do tell him is, you have to follow what's inside of you. It's pulling you to do something. If you're forcing yourself to do something, then it's not aligned with your true path. And the world we live in, we have to sustain. So you get a job, do what you have to do to sustain your, living, but give time and attention to the passion that you have within, and don't ignore it. And it can change, like it can go from one thing to the next thing to the next, but it's just your soul discovering what it is that you have interest in. And I told my son the same thing. I tell my kids all the same things. Just try it. You never know what it's going to spark in you. I also use the Disney movie. I'm a Disney kid, so I reference the movie Soul. So if you haven't watched that, watch the movie Soul. It's a great movie, and talking about your spark and really finding the spark, and how you go through all these different things to find that spark. And until you find that spark, just keep going. Just keep venturing into trying. It's sad to see someone who can't, who doesn't go into that. So just try until you find something that really sparks you. And once you do that, keep going with it. Even if it's a little bit of time, just keep doing with it and keep bettering yourself until it starts to move and starts to click.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. It just seems like the guests that we have had in the past few weeks have kind of similar answers. Like last week, Joy, that's just that really ties into what you're talking about. Just something.
I watched, yes.
Oh, you watched it? Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
I watched it. I'm very attracted. I love creators. I love young creators too. That's always been something I've been drawn to. These young creators, their minds are just so incredible, powerful. And being a hula dancer is a thing. So if anyone is interested, you can definitely reach out to me. I am hosting classes to help groom hula dancers who are interested in actually being performers for my friends who own groups. And so it's just like a grooming class to get you going with the mindset and understanding the background, and then also the poise. And I think that's one thing that people have been expressing to me a lot is just the type of voice that you have from being a dancer. And I'm same thing with being a ballet dancer, right? You hold yourself differently, your posture. Our posture is, we have this bigger posture to uphold ourselves. And it just gives off a sense of confidence, self-love, and then how you move through it. So, yeah.
Yes. So if you all are watching the replay at all, and you're on Be Connected, just look on the left in the middle, the button in the middle. You'll be able to be taken to Moana's Instagram, and that's how how they can contact you, right? That's probably
right now. That's the best way you can contact me. Yes.
Okay, because I'm sure there are going to be some people interested in wanting to reach out and see what your classes are going to be like. So. But if you're on YouTube, you can go ahead and click like and subscribe, and then we'll also have her linked also there as well. So you'll be able to get her that way. But thank you so much, Moana. This has been amazing, amazing conversation.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that you've been able to come and enlighten us with this. And Karen, she's all enlightened.
Oh, I'm thrilled. I'm so happy. This is like it's like made my day. So awesome.
Yes. Well, thanks again, everyone. And we will see you next time with the Creatives Worldwide podcast. And we'll see you again. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.